Your data is like gold to hackers, and they'll sell it to the highest bidder. Are you protected? McAfee helps shield you, blocking suspicious texts, malicious emails, and fraudulent websites. McAfee Secure VPN lets you browse safely, and its AI-powered text scam detector spots threats instantly. You'll also get up to $2 million of award-winning antivirus and identity theft protection, all for just $39.99 for your first year. Visit McAfee.com. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, Luxury or Essential by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. It's safe to say that most of us in line to become financially independent or retire early don't lead lives of luxury. For example, I shave with bar soap, buy socks at Walmart, don't pay for cable, and still don't own a smartphone. I'm just a lifelong cheapskate who's been privileged to splurge in a few areas. Frugality is a necessary baseline for most who build wealth. But does this mean that luxuries are bad? And what exactly is a luxury anyway? Could it be different for different people? The dictionary tells us that a luxury is something inessential, but conducive to pleasure and comfort. But that definition leaves quite a bit of room for interpretation. To be essential is to be close to the essence of something, inherent, almost a part of it. What is truly essential to human life? Water, food, clothing, shelter, companionship? It's a short list. And at least in the developed world, easily or freely obtained by most of us. Does that mean that everything else, from bicycles to BMWs, from ginger spice to ice cream, from watches to iPhones, is a luxury? Perhaps. When it comes to evaluating an expense for the kind of frugal living that leads to financial independence, I think it's more useful to focus on the following 3 factors, rather than on whether something is a luxury or not by someone else's standards. Number 1, what are its features in addition to its core function? Number 2, what is its value to you in relation to its cost? And number 3, what is its overall cost in relation to your living expenses? Take cars, for example. The core function of a vehicle is to transport you and some of your stuff from one place to another. Onboard navigation systems, iPod integration, rear view cameras, and 400 horsepower with paddle shifters really are supplementary to that goal. However, corporate marketing machines have been pretty effective at creating artificial functions for your vehicle, such as enhancing your self-image or rewarding you for having arrived. When we bought our Prius in 2007, we wound up with the touring model because it was already on the lot in the color we wanted, and the dealer was willing to negotiate aggressively on price. What made it a touring model? Alloy wheels with slightly larger and harder to find and more expensive tires, and a slightly larger rear spoiler. Utter foolishness since discontinued by Toyota. I'm glad we didn't pay more for these luxuries, which turned out to be slight liabilities in this case. But we do love our Prius, primarily because it has been cheap, functional, trouble-free transportation. Take our 2006 camper van. If purchased new, we got ours used, of course, it would cost as much as a BMW 7 Series sedan. Is our camper van a luxury vehicle then? Maybe, maybe not. It's a lot slower, noisier, and harder to drive than a BMW sedan. We're somewhat less comfortable in it than we are in our full-size house or even a hotel room. On the other hand, it's a lot more comfortable than camping in a tent or a pop-up trailer. And by letting us cut lodging costs and prepare our own food on the road, It enables a mobile lifestyle and long, inexpensive vacations that have been steadily earning back the initial cost. Luxuries are fun. They make life more pleasurable and comfortable. In a world of infinite resources, time, and money, most of us would add all the luxuries we could on top of life's necessities. But alas, we only have so much money and so much time to learn, maintain, and play with our stuff. So for each purchase, we need to decide, is this truly valuable to me? And how do you know that? Ask yourself a few questions. How many hours do I have to work to afford this? How many hours will I use it? Will I still benefit from it a year from now? Is there a better way to spend my money? The primary luxury in my life for many years, until it was stolen last summer, was my mountain bike. I rode a near competition level model from a small, trendy US bike manufacturer, outfitted with top of the line components. Though I got a deal on it from a friend in the business, it retailed for what would be a generous month's pay for many. Outrageous to spend that much on a bicycle, right? Yet I never once regretted this luxury in my life. I could easily afford it, in part because we own so few other luxuries, and it gave me riding confidence on countless exciting backcountry adventures with my teenage son. When it was stolen, I was content enough to replace it with a recreational level bike at less than 1/3 the cost, because I no longer valued the luxury in that area of my life. That brings us to a final question for evaluating luxuries in your life. Can you afford it? The issue with luxuries isn't that they are inherently evil or inappropriate. The problem is when you develop habits to the point that expensive luxuries become necessities, or you want them in all areas of your life. Take the well-worn latte factor. It's hard to find a personal finance website without either an article or a calculator showing you how much you could save towards retirement if you swore off expensive coffee drinks. Well, I have a confession. We like high-end coffee shops and bakeries. Sometimes, usually on vacation, we go to them, but we've never lived near one, so it's never been part of our daily routine. A few times a quarter, when we're traveling away from home, it's a fun splurge. And it's never enough money to be more than a blip on our monthly spending. We could probably even afford a latte a day if we wanted, but then that would start to crowd out other potential luxuries. And coffee just isn't that important to us. So, when thinking about the expenses in your life, ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, is this optional? If so, then it is, to some extent, a luxury, and you should give it a little more thought before spending. Number 2, is this truly important to me? If it's something you value over almost anything else, then you should prioritize that expense, as long as you can answer this 3rd question. Number 3, can I afford it? Is it less than a few % of your monthly budget, or does it enable long-term quantifiable savings or quality of life? If so, go for it. Otherwise, don't go there. When you spend money, you choose consumption today over the lifetime of interest income you'd achieve from investing it instead. The total amount of money you spend on consumption plus the foregone interest earnings adds up to the real cost of spending. This number is much higher than you might expect. That's because of compound interest. You just listened to the post titled Luxury or Essential by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase of 16 weeks, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadline so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
I think this question of luxury versus essential is highly subjective. When I look around me, I feel like I'm surrounded by luxury. I have a great house with central air that's larger than any apartment I've ever lived in. I have plenty of food in the fridge and running water and a car that gets me from point A to point B. But I suspect that most people would never describe my lifestyle as luxurious. That house that I love? It's only 1,100 square feet with no garage in a neighborhood that's up and coming, but still a bit rough around the edges. That food in the fridge? It's certainly not caviar. And I'm not splurging on fancy filters for that running water either. I'm perfectly fine to drink tap water. That car that I love? It's definitely not a Tesla. I'm cruising around in a 2010 Mazda 3 that I bought for $6,000 cash. I think it feels luxurious to me because I've learned to foster a deep appreciation for these things, and I've developed the capacity to enjoy simplicity. As Socrates said, quote, "The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less," end quote. Enjoying less is an incredible skill set that our consumerist culture will never talk about. But it will make you rich and not just rich monetarily, but rich in time and energy as well. And that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you on the Thursday show tomorrow, where optimal life awaits.